All right. Well, hello and welcome to the premier episode of the U.S. Pizza Team podcast. Don't know why, we just decided to do it today, right, Mike?
That's right.
All right.
And it's hot, 92-degree weather in Charleston.
The same here in Mississippi, man. So it's just what better thing to do than to stay inside in the AC and talk about pizza.
That's
but
right.
So for our first guest, and I don't know, maybe future host, co-host, whatever, Mike Pitera of Pizza Modo Mio in Charleston, South Carolina. So why don't you say hello to the world, Mike?
Hello, the world. Thank you very much for having me, guys. I'm really excited to be a part of the first episode. I'm excited to be part of the team and to be here with you today. Appreciate it. So I've been making pizza since I was 15. I started making pizza at an early age because my best friend's father owned a pizzeria in New York. I was born and raised in Brooklyn. I moved to Long Island, spent most of my life in Long Island, New York. And he had a pizzeria in West Islip. It was called Our Little Italy at the time. And I started washing dishes. I started working in the back like everyone usually starts from the ground up. And I fell in love with the culture. I fell in love with the culinary side of it and everything about the entire industry. So at an early age, at 15, I was working at his pizzeria. And from there, I graduated to the different departments. I started as a dishwasher. Then I became, a prep chef, shredding the cheese and cutting the pepperoni and sausage and all the back of the house type of stuff. And then I went over to a counter person. At that time, I got my license and became a delivery driver. And then I wanted to learn to make pizza. And, that's how I, developed the skill of making pizza, learning behind the old school guys behind the bench, learning how to flip dough. And, I loved the atmosphere of what that restaurant brought. Having customers come in and say, hey, hey, Tommy, how you doing? Hey, Mike, how are you? Every Tuesday, every Thursday, every Friday saying hi to Mr. and Mrs. Montesano or whoever it is. And I just loved it. I loved everyone wanting to know the pizza guy. I loved always knowing what to do during when somebody wanted something, experiment with something and make something up for them and just catering to them. And I fell in love with it. And I did that most of my, my childhood. Up through high school. And even when I went away to college, I would come back home and work at the pizzeria. And then my whole life took a 180. I went to culinary school, went to college, didn't really fall into pizza at that time. I thought I wanted to become a chef, working, in a top restaurant and going to the CIA. And I said to myself, this is not something I want to do. I don't want to be working holidays and nights and working on top of an oven when everyone's out enjoying with their families. I'm going to be stuck cooking for them, right? So I changed my career. And from that point on, I did pizza as a hobby. I made it for my friends and family. I had a couple of friends that worked at a pizzeria, and they owned the pizzeria. I would sub in and help them whenever they needed it. So I was always involved, but I wasn't vested 100%. And long story short, I was spent my whole life in New York. And I wanted to get out of New York at the time, about 3 years ago, when COVID happened. I wanted to get out of New York. So 3 years ago, I moved down to Charleston, wanted to move closer to my family. And when I did that, I got a sales job here like I had in New York. I was working for Xerox at the time for close to 14 years, being a sales manager and a VP of sales for Xerox. And that's where I was. I was a white-collar worker. I was going to meetings in Manhattan, and that's what my career was. And when I moved down to Charleston, I got a sales job, but there was no pizza here, and there was no bagels here. And that whole vibe was not in Charleston. It was all, fried chicken and seafood and grits and collard greens and fried okra. And that's the lifestyle down here, which is delicious, but it's not what I'm used to coming out of New York, So, my father and I, we built the trailer. We got an ATV trailer, an 8x16 trailer. I had a Dodge Durango, and I said, Dad, let's build out a kitchen. Let's build out a pizza oven in it, and let's drive around Charleston and sell pizza. And I did that my first year moving down to Charleston. I would work all week, all day, get out of work at 4 or 5 o'clock, hook up my hitch to my trailer, and drive around Charleston to different neighborhoods and sell brick oven pizza, 10-inch pizzas. And I was like, yeah, man. I said, you know what? I said, this area needs it. And people kept on asking me, where's your pizzeria? Where can I find you? And I was so spotty because I was just bouncing around. So a year and 4 more months ago, I quit my full-time job, my career, my guaranteed paycheck every Friday,
Oh.
and I went full in, and I got a brick and mortar, and I went all in. I opened up my first location in West Ashley. And from there, I opened up my second location about 4 months ago now. We're going on our 4th month here in Hollywood. So,
Wow.
yeah, it's a roller coaster of a ride, but I have the passion. I love it. I enjoy it, and it's what I really want to do. So I went for it.
I mean, that's some pretty fast growth. Was it just because, like you said, there was that gap missing of what you could basically you filled the gap that was of good pizza there. There was
there was a void. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are good pizza places in Charleston. Don't get me wrong. There's a void here, but it's Charleston's not known for pizza at the time, right? There was no shops that had slices. Everything was a gourmet restaurant style. So you sit down, you're getting a 12-inch Neapolitan style. You can't go out and grab a calzone or a stromboli or pepperoni roll or garlic knots or something. So there were a couple places that were here, but they weren't the type of product that I can bring. They weren't the traditional New York style. The concept was there, but the style wasn't there, and the flavor and I guess the way that we do things in New York wasn't there. And Charleston is one of the fastest growing cities in the country right now. A lot of people from up north, from Jersey, Pennsylvania, Ohio, New York, they're all moving down to the Carolinas. So you're getting an influx of Northerners down here. They're called transplants. And what do they want? They want what they've been used to their entire life. They want good bagels. They want good pizza. They want a good product. They want to walk in and grab 2 slices and a Coke, fold it up on a piece of paper or on a plate, eat it on the way out. And they couldn't find that. So that's all I knew. And that helped me because that's all I knew. That's what I wanted to do. And there ended up being a need for it.
And that's the best part is that, I mean, because do you think that is exactly what kind of fueled your that quick growth is just filling that void? Like you said, it's not that there was necessarily bad pizza there. It's just there wasn't this kind of pizza there. That's right.
100%. I mean, yes, there's some great restaurants here that put out some great Neapolitan pizza and some great slices. But yes, that's it. You hit the nail right on the head. That style, walking in and seeing a display case of 10 to 12 different styles of pizza wasn't here. So once I started doing that, then word got out and, people knew, hey, I don't have to buy a pizza for $20 anymore. I can go and grab 2 slices and a Coke for $10 and there's my lunch.
Yeah. And that's not a lot of people. That's the one pizza style, if you want to call it a style, the slice shop. I think that is lacking in most areas. That's the last thing to kind of creep in, I think.
Right.
And, most places will do Detroit before they're selling them by the slice.
Right.
Or, you know what I mean? So but it is a very, I don't want to say niche market, but it's a market that's there that you can take advantage of. So
absolutely.
All right. So, I mean, and this is, I was going to say your life story, but it's like, I mean, up until now, your pizzeria's life story is very young.
It's very young.
It's 2 years, right? Did you say
we're
a year and a half?
Yeah, man, year and a half. We opened up in February 5th of 2023 of Pizza Modo Mio, West Ashley. So we just hit that year mark not too long ago. And then I opened up Cafe Modo Mio, which is Pizza Modo Mio and Cafe, February, exactly almost a year. It was February, I think like 10th of this year. But this location has a little bit of a different concept. We have a pizzeria here, but we also have a cafe, which is we do New York bagels, egg sandwiches. We have a baker that does in-house pastries and whatnot. So, branching off the pizzeria in West Ashley and seeing what people wanted was another thing that's missing down here. A good coffee shop and a good, good pastry shop. So I wanted to incorporate that with, my pizzeria as well.
Why didn't you do it with the first one? Or are you
the
first one now? Was there just not a need for it at the time?
It was not that it wasn't a need for it. I didn't want to bite off too much I could chew, so I didn't want to, I wanted to concentrate. I never owned a pizzeria before. I've always worked at a pizzeria, and it's funny because John Ramundi, he's actually one of the first guys that I learned how to make pizza as well. And he owns a couple of shops and he's a consultant in Long Island. I worked with him most of my childhood career of working in pizza. And it's funny because the things that I've done, I've seen how, he, as an employee, as a young kid, I saw how much aggravation it gave him as an owner, and all the stuff that's happened as an owner, having a brick and mortar, between the air conditioning, everyone being hot, and between, picking up a slice and eating it, and all the little things as kids you don't think about. And now fast forward 10 years later, 15 years later, and then I'm the owner, and these kids are doing the same thing. I say to myself, I said, man, now I know what this guy's been going through this whole time, So, yeah, I mean, I just didn't want to dive too much into it. I wanted to be able to have a concept where I can make pizza, do slices, do some salads, and be able to get it going before I really dive in deep with some other crazy ideas that I have.
Awesome. Real quick on the back end now, are you thinking about adding that to the first location?
No, probably not, because there's it's a very small spot. It's only 1,100 square feet. So it's pretty much refrigeration, oven, a dining room that holds about 30 people, and a prep room, and that's it. So my future plan is to be able to knock down the wall that is with the tenant next door. Once they decide to sell or go out or where have you, I would really like to expand. And if we do that, then I will have a pastry section and a coffee section, maybe incorporate pastas and whatnot. But there's a coffee shop inside that same shopping center, so I really can't go too deep into it.
Okay. All
because
right.
it's conflict of interest, and they wouldn't allow me. But can I have some espresso machines and stuff? Absolutely.
The place I was GMing was in a little strip mall that held like 4 or 5 slots maybe, and they didn't have an exclusivity clause in there, a non-compete.
Right.
The guy was vindictive and opened up paper cardboard pizzeria next to us, and
I believe it.
with dirt pizza comes dirt cheap prices. And
that's right.
The worst part was he had that big pointy arrow light up sign, and since we shared a wall, I mean, it wasn't in the same mall, we shared a fucking wall, so his arrow was pointing like directly at both of us. So people were coming into my place for the good pizza and getting pissed. The first time I said to him, I'm like, I had to tell a customer, I'm like, that's not me. I don't have that price. That's that guy over there. And I'm like, I turned around to the staff. I'm like, don't say that. You tell them.
Make whatever you want.
We'll have pizzas for that price.
That's right.
I amended it to be. It was a lot better than I just said. But yeah, I was like, oh crap. That sucked. But I love how it's just kind of that long path that you took, and you even went like the pro side of it. For how long were you at the CIA?
I was taking classes. I was actually taking high school classes. That brought me up to when taking college classes. So it would be a total of about 2 years, and then that's when I left, because I had the college classes during high school. But I would say about 2 years of academic culinary, and then what's nice about it, there was a lot of hands-on with those classes as well. So I was working in restaurants at the time associated with the classes. So, working on the line and whatnot, I learned a lot doing that.
That's sweet.
Yeah, it was great.
I had a question, and then we'll talk about some team stuff real quick.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier a bunch of styles. People weren't doing a bunch of styles, and you did mention like pizza by the slice. But I'm looking at some of the Instagram stuff, I guess. I'm trying to familiarize myself with what the kids do. I'm sure I'm still about 10 years too late to it.
That's okay.
I know I am. But so I'm seeing, this style right here itself seemed to be, what is it?
That's our grandma. That's our grandma with toppings on it. The customer was from, I believe, Ohio. And there was a certain style of pizza that she was interested in. And I kept on telling her, yes, that's our grandma. But she had a different name for it. It wasn't, Tavern. It wasn't, Deep Dish. It wasn't Detroit. I next wasn't Old Forge. I forgot the name that she called it. But I said, yeah, that's the grandma style. She goes, great. She goes, I just moved down here. I went to a bunch of different pizzerias. I can't find it anywhere. So it was our grandma pizza with certain toppings on it. So she wanted, I think, banana peppers and sausage and onions. And it's with our homemade marinara sauce. And I made it for her, special for her. And forget it. She's on like every Facebook Charleston group telling about us. And yeah, she loved it. So that's just our specialty grandma pizza that we made for our customer.
Huh. Okay. So she was looking for something with specific toppings, and that was a grandma style with a specific name.
That's
so,
right. That's with a certain crust and whatnot. We pan fry all our Sicilians and grandma. So she was looking for that fluffy consistency with that crispy bottom.
It was a pan fried Sicilian. I just did a video on that, and I butchered it. That was beautiful. I should have just stole your footage. But so without making everybody look through every single picture like I would do with a slideshow, what kind of styles do? You do, you guys grandma, you do them by the slice, which I would assume would be New York style.
That's right. So when you come in, you can always get a New York style, a grandma style, a Sicilian style, a tavern style, gluten-free personal crust, and that is it.
Okay.
So we do 5 styles along with garlic knots and strombolis and things along that nature.
So Pizza Modo Mio is New York influence pizza. I didn't hear Detroit on that list, did I?
Detroit, no. We want to get into that. I think that's something we will get into if we do an expansion next door. We need more rooms for the pans. We need more rooms for prep. We're going to need a walk-in. We don't even have a walk-in. We have a bunch of refrigerators that we're doing everything. So if that day comes, I would love to get into Detroit. That's actually one of my favorite types of pizzas. And Peter, who you all know, Peter's my GM over at the West Ashley location, and he is killing it with Detroit pan, and I fell in love with it. So I would like to get into it if we start expanding next door.
Peter Carbonaro or Carbonara, I can't remember.
Yep.
Apologies.
Peter Carbonaro, yep.
But yeah. So very cool. I mean, it's a fun one to play with because there's so much to do to try to even get it perfected. And then I remember when it used to be just to get the best fried edges, and then it became, well, how cavernous can I get Detroit? And I'm like, well, it's not Detroit anymore. So it has to be kind of spongy. Yeah. So I like seeing those big ones that are just not what you expect inside. So
Yep.
All right, so you are the newest U.S. Pizza Team competing member, what we call over here white coats, because they have the white chef coats versus our black chef coats, which in the kitchen is the highest level of color, I guess. It denotes the most knowledge. So we kind of left it at that. But yeah, so welcome aboard, brother.
Thank you.
It wasn't an easy thing. So what we've done is to kind of let people know we've reestablished your guidelines for getting on. It's a point system. You have to earn so many points, and that comes from doing things, competing, going to events, talking with people, being out there in the public, representing pizza, the team, and yourself and your pizzeria with honor, not getting into petty Facebook feuds, watching your mouth. I know it's a restriction of freedom of speech, but damn it, this ain't a democracy. This is the U.S. Pizza Team.
Right.
But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. So it's
I know exactly what you mean.
There's a lot more restrictions, but the beautiful part of it is that the members wanted this. This was nothing that I'm just coming in, like a sheriff in the Wild West trying to clean up. It wasn't a hard sell.
I appreciate it.
But I mean, and then, so why don't you tell us some of the things that you had to do to get on the team, or said that point list that basically I graded everything that you sent me on a point scale, and you had enough plus a few to get on, which was great.
Right.
Why don't you tell us some of that list?
Yeah. So from speaking to you and just which I think is a great idea to have a point system, because you want to have value to the team and have value people to the team that have some form of experience, or just have the passion for the craft and for what we do. Right. So some of the things that we spoke about are the competitions that we're in. So I was in a best sauce competition, a marinara sauce back in New York. There was about 40 contestants. We had to make our best marinara sauce. I was in the Orlando show where we did fastest box making, largest dough stretch, fastest dough stretch, the triathlon. I also did the culinary side of it, which I did non-traditional pizza with that, and just being involved with as much of the show as I can. I would work with some local vendors that were at the show and do some demos and talk about pizza and really just educate, the people walking around and showcasing what pizza is all about and how we make it and whatnot. And then Vegas, we went over to Vegas and I went into the fastest stretch again, largest stretch, triathlon, the fastest box making. But I also went into best cheese. And I was really excited to go into best cheese because that's what I do. We are a New York pizzeria, cheese house, where, when you go into a new pizzeria, you want to taste their cheese pizza. That's what I do. If I go in a pizzeria where I want to check out, I want to see what their regular cheese pizza tastes like first. Then if that's really good, all right, now I'm going to explore and taste everything else. So I went into the best cheese category, and surprisingly, I got sixth best cheese pizza, and I was very proud of that. It was my first major competition in Vegas. Between bringing the dough over, prepping everything, all the logistics, having everyone look at you in the stands and cameras on you. I mean, it was a lot, and I loved it. And just doing that, but also competitions aside, doing stuff for your local community and really touching people and really being a role model to people. And that's something that I cherish, and that's something that I really, really focus on. I'm part of a lot of charitable organizations. I do a lot of stuff for the neighborhoods where if there's a family in need, we'll put up a charity for them during the holidays for a toy drive or something. We do for the local schools. We give back to the schools on pizza nights. We're giving money back. So we try to really invest our time into our local community as well as different organizations just to give back and do something for the people that are coming here and supporting us. We want to do something for them.
Well, and I'm scrolling through, and I'm not. That's why I keep looking over here. It's not a monster. It's Facebook. But this is stuff that you did before. I think you probably even knew the team existed. So I mean, how it's just kind of outreach, and how important is it to brag about it? Should people be just seeing it from the mountaintop? Should it be measured a little bit, or should it be not?
I mean, I think you should showcase it, and not in a selfish way. I think you should showcase it in a way that to get more people involved and to spread the word and spread the love, and just listen, man, there's so much negativity out there. There's so much BS out there. People are so fast to run and give you a negative review or run to go give you a negative this. There's not so much of positive stuff that say, oh, how much I love your pizza or how much I love this person. And there needs to be more of that. So I think there should be a showcase of, yes, you know what, Pizza Modo Mio's here, and we're giving back to a school, and we're doing this for the neighborhood, and have people take that in a positive light that want to come and support as well, than saying, hey, I'm the best person in Charleston. I'm doing all these things. I'm better than you. There's a way to doing it. And I think that if you showcase it in a manner where it's respectful and it's a positive, I think you should be showcasing it as much as you can, because if you're doing it, hopefully other people will follow suit.
Right. Showcasing, not that I'm doing it, but hey, look what I did. Here's why I did it. These people, and then brag about them. If you brag about them, it's kind of a self-brag without having to do it.
Right.
All right. I like that.
Yeah.
That brings you up to what you've kind of done. And then you found the team, obviously, through the competition. You met some of the guys, I would assume, in Vegas. And you're brand new to Vegas. So it's like, what, one trip to Vegas, two? Already?
Yeah, it was my first time at the Vegas show. Yes, this year.
Yeah. So, all right. So you met the team. I mean, how'd you hear about it, and what drew you to it? And,
yes.
How grueling was the process being the very first one?
So I knew about the U.S. pizza team and just competitions as a whole, actually through Peter. Peter, like I mentioned, my GM over in West Ashley, he's been following just the competitions of this world of competitions and this whole industry with the U.S. pizza team for quite some time. I wouldn't say closed-minded, but I didn't know so much about it because I haven't really investigated. I was so honed in on working at the pizzerias and just my neighborhood and my area that I didn't know a lot of these things existed. So he introduced me to the team and to what these shows were all about. And my first show was in Atlantic City. The show that was in Atlantic City last year, and I went there. I met Vito. I met you. I met Michael. I met a couple of who was George. I met a couple of great guys, Rico. Okay. And when I was talking to these guys, I was like, wow. I said, first thing that caught my mind was they're experiencing the same things that I'm experiencing. So we were able to relate right away. Then I found out what the team was all about and how they help each other. And then they work on recipes together and how you do this and do that and just to better yourselves and better your business. And my mind was blown. When I saw the show, when I saw the competitions, when I met the people, I was like, wow, this is really cool. I'm used to being in New York where if there's a pizza down the block from you, they don't want you to succeed. They want you to fail. It's always a competition. It's always my sauce is better. My cheese is better. This and that. Here, it wasn't like that. It was like, great, you have a great pizza. I'm proud of you. Maybe try to do this next time because this will help you. The camaraderie was awesome. And I never experienced that working in the pizza industry, working, in local areas. So that's how I found out about the U.S. Pizza team. That's how I found out about the competitions. And then I got hooked from AC. And that's when I competed and got into it in Orlando. And then when that happened, then I really wanted to go to Vegas, and it just all snowballed. So once I found out about it, and then, speaking to some of the members, I was like, you know what? I really want to be a part of this. What do we need to do? And, that's when, they just said, just do your best and work hard and do what you're supposed to do and be a positive mentor, and you'll be looked at. And that's when you had reached out to me, and I did everything that I could. That I was just being me, and I'm glad that being me was enough to be on the U.S. team. And when I got that call from you guys, the process was awesome. We spoke about expectations, and we spoke about what the team does for each other, and what the concept of the team is, and what is the U.S. Pizza team? What is the purpose of a U.S. Pizza team? And after we discussed all of that, and after figuring out, where I lie, and what I've done, it was just really rewarding and very exciting and very humbling experience to say, wow, these group of professionals want me to be a part of their team because I am being me, because I'm doing what I love to do, and somebody's acknowledging it and noticing it. So that was probably the big turn point for me when that happened. When you called me, that's something I wouldn't forget.
Well, I like how you said that. It's like, and that's what we're looking for, is people that fit in without having to, I don't want to say be molded, but that they're going to, there's a certain feel that we have on the team. It's very familial, friendly, helpful, like you said.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things where it's easier if they come in like that, having that bucket of points ready to go. Look what I've done. Like you said, they get in by being themselves. They're not putting on a show. I don't go for shows.
You don't want
can't always go to BS, and I get angry when I get fooled.
Right. And that's when problems happen. When people are putting up a show and putting up a front, you find out who they really are months later, and then you're like, wow, this person's with us now, and he's embarrassing us. Why didn't we find this out earlier? And you don't want that.
Yeah, and I say that like it's happened a lot. It hasn't. And it's not like there's a list of people out there I'm angry at. So I'm just putting it out there. But as a hypothetical, I'm somebody, I don't like BS. Just tell me now.
Right.
It's kind of the way I do it. So, what are you excited to do on this team? Because I've got a bunch of ideas for roles for you. We've got to do some leadership roles for these guys to kind of help me take some of the load off this side. Because I just found out today I got to do a lot more writing. So this interview actually helps.
Yeah.
But, what are you excited to do with this team? Because again, this is I don't want to say it's a rebirth. May 1st is going to be kind of our brand new first day of the team. Next year, which is actually it's the 30th anniversary of the magazine. No, I don't know. 25th anniversary of the team. That's right.
Yeah.
It was a nice round number. So that'll be kind of cool having that rebirth on there. But it's still struggling. Everything I keep saying, it's not set in stone. It's not, the cement hasn't dried yet, but we can't change things. So what are you expecting what are your expectations from the team? And what do you expect to bring to the team? What are you hopeful to introduce to us?
My expectation. Yeah. So my expectations are, just continuing with that camaraderie and learning from a lot of people, learning do's and don'ts, and really absorbing as much information as I can. I really want to develop a family here and really get to know people. For instance, I had a question that I asked the group last night about how can I sell packaged pizza, and RC jumped right in and said, give me a call, and he just shared with me everything that he does. So I think that expectation there is great. I think if everyone works together, that's what makes a team, that's what makes a family, and that's how we're going to grow and really be recognized in the industry. As for what can I bring to the team and what are some ideas, I really want to be involved as much as possibly can, between running both stores. But I want to be involved with stuff like this. doing stuff at the show. I come from an entertainment background. I've owned a DJ production company for 15 years. So I really want to, get involved with competitors, get involved with maybe some emceeing and doing the show stuff with the competitions. I would love to get involved with maybe some fresh ideas, bring some fresh ideas to the team for some charitable events or some events that we can put on. I think there's some things that the team lacks in terms of recognition and knowing who the U.S. Pizza team is. I think that if we get involved a lot more and do a lot more type of public activities and things along that nature, I think the sky's the limit. And I really want to share some ideas and be a part of that to say, hey, wow, did you hear about this U.S. Pizza team, what they're putting on and what they've done? I think that can really showcase us. And I just want to be able to, go down, a few avenues like that to really bring the light to the team and help as much as I can.
Yeah, we get a little bit of notice, and when we do, it's good notice. But it's just, it's still a pretty good secret of the of the regular person out there. So any of that regular person kind of press that we can get on the eyes on the team, that would be great.
Right.
I think I sent myself that email a few months ago. I think before we even started talking about. I think I was watching The Office, and I said we need a U.S. Pizza team party planning committee, and it was specifically for those events.
Yeah.
We want to have one big social media event, to draw eyes on the team as well as something else, like a charity, like you were saying. So
right,
kind of be tied together. I'm glad that you're excited to do some of this stuff. I know there are other guys on the team that are excited to do it as well. Everybody's kind of been in a limbo holding pattern, so it's time to start bringing everybody in for the landing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be here for the ride, man.
Awesome. Well, that's kind of a brief interview on that. Well, I'm sure we'll be talking with you more about more things throughout the upcoming years and stuff like that. But what's the last thing you want to let people know about Pizza Modo Mio and just pizza in general?
Be kind, and to your staff. Be kind to your customers. I have a very big belief here at Pizza Modo Mio that your employees and everything is family. Be kind to your employees and just spread out good positivity and care about your product. That's what we portray here at Pizza Modo Mio. We want to put out the best possible product that we can with love. And for the U.S. Pizza team, I am super excited to be a part of the team. I'm excited to meet all the members. I'm excited to grow with you guys, and I'm excited to take over this industry and put a stamp on it. So,
all right, well, very nicely done. Welcome aboard. We're happy to have you. I was going to say a minute ago that the hardest part of the process was getting everybody to just respond to me. That's the hardest part of any process with the team, because they're all pizza makers and they have businesses, sometimes multiple businesses and things like that. So. That's what we always have to realize, that this is a team of passion as well. It's kind of a side gig that pays.
Absolutely. We all get busy.
Nothing.
We what it is. We all get busy. We all have air conditions that go down. We all have proof cases that shut down and refrigerators. It happens. It's the industry. Things are going to happen. But, right now I'm having problems right now where my phone's blowing up because I have a repair guy fixing the AC at West Ashley. But, you have to leave time for yourself. You have to leave time for the team, and you have to leave time for growth, and you have to make sure that you do that, because if you get stuck in that hole of negativity, or if you get stuck in that hole of just issues and you don't pull yourself out and give yourself time for other things, you'll be stuck in there. So it's very important to divide yourself up as equally or as much as possible to do other things, and that will help you grow. So I agree.
Love it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Mike.
Thank you.
To the team. We're happy to have you.
Happy to be here
on the U.S. Pizza Team podcast. That's all we're calling it for now. I don't think it needs another name, but
no, I think it's good.
We'll see you guys next time on the next episode.
Yeah, I will see you in L.A.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna let everybody know about the competition in L.A. I actually, you know what? It's because I even had that right here. But boom, look at that.
California. That's it.
August 25th through 27th, Los Angeles, California. The California Pizza Challenge, sponsored by Real California Milk. This is going to be a kick-ass event. I'm going to say it's my show. I'm going to use one curse word. But basically, it's going to be 8 events, 2 grand prizes. And and both grand prizes go to the World Pizza Championships in Parma, Italy next year.
Awesome.
Non-traditional pan category, and the winners of those events face off in a secret basket. So I was going to show you the website, but it's just words. Nobody wants to see words.
No.
So also the acrobatic side, largest, fastest, freestyle, the whole shebang, man. And
yeah, it's gonna be exciting. I'm excited. I'm excited for it. Absolutely.
So tell all your LA friends, post about it, hashtag CPC25, hashtag California Pizza Challenge, hashtag, I don't know how those even work. So, do that. But thank you for reminding me. I'm terrible at my job.
No problem. That's what I'm here for. Let's get it.
Appreciate it, Mike. All right. I'll talk to you.
You have a nice day, guys. Thank you so much.